How much is your confidence costing you as an entrepreneur? Just think about it for a moment. All those sales calls that you may do or may not do because you don't have that confidence, or all the business opportunities that you're missing out on because you've got this bullshit belief in your mind that you're not confident enough. Well, in this YouTube and Spotify episode, I'm going to smash through that so you can go out there and make full maximum opportunity out of any opportunity. So yes, this is the A Players podcast, and I am your host, coach to very high income earners, Lewis Hayden. Now, let's talk about this then. Let's get real for a moment, okay? This is not some podcast that is going to either teach you about some psychology hacks around confidence, and also it's not some podcast that is just giving you business tips. This is a hybrid of both psychology and what it really takes to make a lot of fucking money when it comes to business. So I hope you're taking some notes on this, because I've got some notes in here, and I don't just wing this, by the way. There's a lot of preparation that happens for these YouTube episodes and Spotify and iTunes episodes. So I'm going to list out what I've come up with. So it's not just some winged thing, and you'll understand why I'm saying that when I actually say this in a moment. So let's get stuck in. So number one, if you want to have limitless confidence in any opportunity in business, you need to understand why the fuck you're doing this in the first place, right? So you probably think of the great book, right? There's a great book on this, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Recommend you go and read it. However, you can go and read it. It's about leadership. It doesn't say fuck all about how you make a shitload of money, right? And that's why you're listening to this podcast, because you're an A player and you're going to join that 100K club. And if a lot of listeners now are in that 100K club, so we're going to smash it even further and go to the million club. What does this mean then? Why am I talking about the why? Well, look, when time gets hard and things get tough, doesn't matter what you do. It could be that you're in a sales situation. You could be in the biggest deal of your life. Or it could just be around doing the work that it takes to get the deal. So the prep work before it that you maybe don't want to do. You see, the hard work actually comes from doing that stuff to make sure that you are ready and you're fully confident in doing this. So understanding your why needs a bit of work as well, right? First of all, start with your values. What are your core values as a person? I understand my core values, and that core value can come down to one sentence. I believe that anybody should have the opportunity to step into fucking wealth. And look how I say that, because I mean it. And why do I mean it? Because I'm so passionate about it. Why am I so passionate about it? Because my biggest hate, and here's how you find your values, by the way, and your why. What is your biggest hate that you see in the world? My biggest hate is people turning up to work and going, oh, it's Monday again. Or thank God it's Friday. Or fucking Wednesday hump day. What a way to live life. If you're living your life hating the week and the stuff that you do, your shit is broken. Yeah. It's not a case of changing job. It's a case of your fucking attitude. Fix that attitude first. How do you fix that attitude? Understand why you do what you do. Now, the reason that you're probably hating Mondays is because your why is not clear. Your why is probably around, well, you don't really understand. See, the amount of even high-level executives I say to, what is your big, hairy, audacious goal for the next 10 years? Oh, I haven't really thought about that. It's a great question. It's an interview. You should fucking know this sort of stuff, right? When somebody can tell you their why of why they do things, then instantly you know that person is driven by the right thing. And it may be something that doesn't match the other person. Let's say you were going for an interview and it didn't match that interview, and oh, okay, that's an interesting one. That's not my why. It doesn't matter. Yeah. The whole point of an interview is understanding if that vehicle is right for you and you're right for them. So cut the bullshit. Figure out your why you do what you do. And like I say, my why is I believe that people should step into wealth, because if they don't step into wealth, what happens? They live in a society where everything costs money, and they end up saving and listening to fucking Martin Lewis on ITV, which is a great guy, by the way. No disrespect to him, but he's talking about how you save, right? He's talking about how you save. And I understand why he's doing that because it resonates with the audience. But ultimately, you need to be thinking about how you make more money so you can invest that and save. And that's why Coach Lewis Hayden is here to help you be a very high income earner. Right, let's go to step 2. So, how do you build limitless confidence as an entrepreneur? Set yourself goals that are in reach but will challenge you. Okay, so the amount of I like the podcasts that are out there around people and a lot of big American entrepreneurs, shall we say? And the thing is they're talking about how they're going towards a billion. That doesn't resonate with somebody who hasn't even made their first million yet. Okay, and the stuff that they're teaching you is just for likes. Okay, so they're showing the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and all these, and the Rolls Royces and things like that. But let me tell you, even if your business makes 1 million or 10 million, you still won't have that stuff. So it's not the driver, because what happens is that when you're approaching that and you go, well, hold on a minute, I haven't got my Lamborghini yet, then that doesn't serve you. Okay, unless you really, really want to get that Lamborghini, but it's not the deeper purpose, is it? Think about it. Is it just about ego so you can show it off? Or is it about achieving a goal? Because if it's a goal as a milestone that you go and get that car, then great. But don't put yourself into fucking debt over it. The why is a lot deeper than that. The why is a lot deeper than that. However, the second step I'm talking about now is to make sure that you put the goals that are in reach of where you want to get to now. So perhaps it could just be get a nicer car, a better version of it. It could be the Porsche that you wanted, for example, rather than going for the £250,000 Lamborghini or the $500,000 Bentley or Rolls Royce. You see, the thing is here, you've got to set the goals so you feel like you're achieving more often. Because if you put too big a goals in there, they're out of reach and you don't achieve them. Here's the secret: more smaller wins more often will help you be successful. Okay, so let's go on to number 3. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Do the things that you've never done. You see, something that I study as part of my academic world that I don't really talk about on this podcast is that I research what makes successful entrepreneurs and executives very successful. And what it comes up with is that the people that are more successful push their boundaries. Yeah, they don't stay within their comfort zone. They find out what makes them uncomfortable and they do more uncomfortable things more often. Why is that? Well, when you do more uncomfortable things more often, you're expanding your mindset, you're expanding your horizons, you're pushing the limits. And then when something does come up, which is minor uncomfortable, you fucking smash it. You go straight through that brick wall as though it's not even there. Why is that? Because you've done bigger things that have tested you in life. Now, these don't have to be business things, by the way. Here's a secret. Things like going on a skydive, things like you got to go and do something a little bit out of the ordinary today. Yeah, something that you've never done before. Yeah, things that just push you and make you a little bit uncomfortable. Doing a podcast, going and doing a public speaking event, going to a new networking event, meeting a lot of people. Hey, Lewis, I don't like people. I like to do this. Yeah, neither do I, really. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast right now. I like my close circle. And if people want to be in that close circle, then great. But that's something that I've had to recognize now that is a weakness of me. Now, people say, Lewis, should you work on your strengths or your weaknesses? You work on both, right? You take your strengths and make those strengths the key thing that you do, right? Because if you don't like it, then you're not going to do it all the time. So the strengths are going to be something that you do over a long time, yeah? Because you'll naturally do that and naturally gravitate to that. Doing the things you don't like to do, your weaknesses, need a little bit of drive, a little bit of motivation to step out of there and do it, right? So the key to that is that you don't want to be doing that all the time, because what will happen then is that you just won't want to do it all the time. That makes sense? So the things that your weaknesses, you still do want to drive and do them, maybe one a quarter. Push yourself to do something that you've never done before, because those weaknesses will also make you a stronger character so that you can start to plow through. Because ultimately, look, if you're going to start building big businesses or if you're going to start being a high income earner, then you're going to have to start getting used to doing uncomfortable things. And by doing that, will raise your confidence as well. Number 4, learning and prep. I said to you at the start of this, I've made show notes to every episode that I do. It takes me about an hour. I know that there's YouTubers out there that take days in creating show notes. Why is that? Because preparation is key, right? Learning and preparation. When you learn something, when you go and do the things like I just mentioned in that previous point, stretching the comfort zone, you're preparing your mindset, you're preparing your character to take that stuff on. You see, the amount of people that I see get up on stage or try and host a business meeting just because they deserve a fucking title in the business, or they get a new job and they get in there and they just look stupid in front of people, right? Why is that? Because they've never done it before, because they've never done the small things. They've never prepared. Yeah. How do you start preparing? Well, Lewis, I don't have the opportunity to do a public speaking event or skydive or whatever. You have the opportunity to read a fucking book. You have the opportunity to watch YouTube videos like this. You have the opportunity to subscribe and listen to podcasts and get them around your environment rather than listen to bullshit radio from some music from the 60s and 70s over and over and over again, yeah, that you don't even like. Start thinking about it. How do you start to shape so you can learn more often and be prepared? Thank you for listening to the podcast so far. A quick reminder that the A Players podcast and community remains free. The reason we do this podcast is because I believe that a great question to ask is, what advice would you give your younger self? For me, I wish I had a guide that showed me the exact steps to reach 100k a year in any job, and how much my life would be accelerated if I'd cut through that noise and just focused on those steps. We do not run ads or endorse sponsors because it is our mission to give back and share with you, the listener, knowledge gained from working with highly successful individuals and extensive research in management science, so that everyone has access to tools that can accelerate their income and give them the opportunity to step into wealth. In line with allowing us to achieve that mission, we ask that you think about, how did you end up on this podcast today? Maybe it was through finding it on YouTube or Spotify or word of mouth. So please help feed forward by subscribing to the podcast, and also share this podcast with another leader like you that you feel this podcast could really help out in helping them increase their personal income too. Let's get back to the show. Number 5, if you're going to get more confidence, you need more consistency. End of. Look, I hear people talk about this, and there's an argument around it that, Lewis, you need to test and measure, and if it's not working, why do you carry on? The definition of insanity, Lewis, is this, this, and this. Yeah, that's also counterproductive, because people think, I mean, it's subjective. And what I mean by subjective is it's in someone's mindset what the time period is that they should be doing stuff before they try something new. Okay. So if you look at marketing, for example, go and look how many podcasts I've got and how many YouTube. This is episode 40 on my podcast. Did you know that just to be the top 1% of podcasts in the world, you just need to make it past episode 20? Why is that? Because people stop. People give up. And they give up because they talk themselves into, this is not working and it's not the right thing. Yeah. I've been doing podcasts for years, not just this one, by the way. This is episode 40. I've been doing this one for around 6 months. But my previous podcasts, I've done hundreds of podcasts. Okay. Consistency. Do podcasts work? Well, yes, because I've got thousands of listeners now. There's like 30,000 plus views on YouTube, right? So back to my why. As long as I know that that person doesn't even have to subscribe or like anything, as long as I know it's made an impact, positive or negative, because I get a lot of hate for this stuff as well, but all that matters is I've made them think a little bit differently. Yeah. And regardless of how they took it, they've took some different sort of perspective on what they should do. I mean, if they don't resonate with the A Players and 100K Club, they'll go and find another YouTube influencer that does, right? Great. I've done my job. Yeah. I wasn't right for them. I'm not the right vehicle, or I might be the right vehicle. Okay. See, the point here is that what am I saying here to get you guys thinking about how you get limitless confidence? If somebody is not great at something, what sort of evidence are you looking for? Yeah. What sort of evidence are you looking for? The reasons why it doesn't work, or the reasons that it does work? And that comes down to your attitude. But the only way you're going to figure that out is by being consistent and fucking showing up. Show up more often. And if you mean what you mean in your why, go and prove it. Number six, find an environment or tribe or club that supports your development. Now, in my research that I do as a scientist, as well as being a CEO and entrepreneur investor, there's a lot of evidence that supports that the people that are more successful are because of who they hang around more often. You see, if you hang around Uncle Bob, who's telling you that businesses are crooks, or it's just about how they make more money, or they're not doing it for the right reasons, or people in business. He used to know someone. His friend Jim died at the age of 50 because he had a heart attack because of how stressful his job was. Look, there's plenty of evidence as well of people working till 80 plus, 85, 90. Look at Warren Buffett, of people that are very successful and living very, very happy lives. So who do you need to be around? Do you need to be around people that are doubting your goals or people that are supporting your goals? Have a think about that. And the next step as well is, look, some of these tribes as well, these clubs, do cost an investment. So step number 7 is that what are you doing to get around these people more often? Because more successful people actually start to invest their time and money to do this sort of stuff. If you don't have the money, you can invest in your time, just like YouTube, right? How does YouTube make money? By you watching it. Okay. So they're taking time and switching it into money. How do they get more watch time? They pay people to do it. So the people that have longer watch time get paid for it. Okay. I don't do that. I mean, if you look at my subscribers on the time of this, I'm new to the YouTube world, really. It's only around about 125 subscribers so far. Doesn't matter though. You could have 10 subscribers or you can have 10,000 subscribers. The point is, you stay consistent and you keep going. I invest my time into this sort of stuff. What sort of time do you invest in? You're watching this right now. We are 15 minutes in. You're investing time in me, and I appreciate you for that. Yeah. So the next step is when you start to run out of time, what do you invest in next? So all my editing that gets done is by somebody that I pay. I have an editing team that I pay for it, that's going to be watching this through and doing it, that will spend, a couple of hours on doing these videos. Why is that? Because my time is extremely valuable helping people like you make more money, right? Not pissing about with some editing software to get it right. Okay. But that is also extremely important. Otherwise, it would never show up and you'd never be watching this in the first place. So just think about it. The reason I'm saying this is because I'm very real about what it actually takes. Okay. I've been doing this for a long time. And look, 125 subscribers. If you look at the very first videos I did on YouTube of me, I was actually in Australia about 10 years ago. I'm doing my best. I'm trying, right? So the reason I'm saying this is I'm giving you the real life journey of what it takes. This is what it really takes. Go and find, somebody who's a way ahead of me. Look at Mr. Beast's channel, for example. Go down to his video 1. Yeah, go down to Alex Hormozzi's first ever podcast, right? He started from somewhere. And the one thing is they learn from everything and they never fucking give up. Consistency. And as they start to scale, guess what? Just for one thumbnail now, Mr. Beast spends $30,000, right? He doesn't spend $30,000 for no reason. He's investing his money. So if there's one thing that's really going to allow you to be a limitless, confident entrepreneur, it's starting to think differently about how you invest your time, learn differently, who the people you hang around, where you start to spend your money. Where do you not need to start to really think about how do you start to put yourself in situations that challenge you more often? Okay. And I'm not just saying this because, this is something I've researched and found on ChatGPT, highly against that. What this is real talk of what I'm actually doing, right? This is the real journey of what actually happens. The previous episode told you about how I made a $10 million plus business from doing this sort of real stuff as well. So, what are the biggest takeaways that you can lock in today? Is there anything today that resonates with you that could also resonate with somebody else? And if so, copy the link and share this, slide this into their DMs so that you can help somebody else become a confident entrepreneur as well. Be great.